Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, family displaced after fire at Manchester home. A family was displaced Sunday after a fire damaged their Manchester home. The fire was reported just after noon at the home at 53 Lilac Court, according to the Manchester Fire Department. It began in the basement, and the flames then spread to a first-floor kitchen. Nobody was home at the time. The fire caused an estimated $30,000 to $40,000 in damage. 2 adults and 2 children were displaced. Man dies, another man missing after Fall River boat crash, DA says. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston. This is video footage from the scene. One man is dead and another remains missing after a powerboat crashed in Mount Hope Bay, according to the Bristol County District's Attorney's Office. Officials said multiple 911 calls were made at 5:34 p.m. Saturday to report a boat crash in which 2 men were ejected. The Coast Guard said they rescued 1 man near Spear Island. The district's attorney's office identified that man as a 42-year-old Brent Osborne of Middleborough. According to officials, Osborne was found by another boater and was rushed back to shore at the Tipsy Seagull boat dock in Fall River. He was rushed to St. Anne's Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m., the district attorney's office said. The powerboat was being operated by its owner, 35-year-old Mark Hando of Berkeley. Officials said Hando remains missing at sea at this time. The Coast Guard and other agencies conducted a search Saturday night and resumed their search Sunday morning. Investigators believe the crash occurred when the boat hit a large wave at a high rate of speed. The Coast Guard said the boat capsized on impact. The crash is still being investigated by Bristol County District Attorney's Office, State Police, Environmental Police, the Coast Guard, and Fall River Police. Helicopter crash in Sanford. The pilot has been seriously injured. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Construction job sites are extremely demanding. Thankfully, I don't have to stress about insurance.
Between my salon and my film set work, right, Jacqueline, thank you very much. A helicopter spinning out of control crashed to the ground at Sanford Regional Airport this morning. The pilot, 50-year-old Jack White of Bodenham, was flying the helicopter as part of his licensing process when he lost control. He was the only one inside the chopper at the time and was transported to Maine Medical Center with serious injuries. Witnesses at a nearby cafe were the first ones to respond to that scene.
The police department and the fire department responded to the Sanford Airport for a helicopter crash, and it was a single occupied helicopter, the pilot only, and that male has been transported to Maine Med Center for severe injuries.
The whole thing, of course, was a little on the stressful side. It's a person's life out there, and you want to make sure, they're tended to as quickly as possible.
Police say White was close to the ground, likely doing a landing or a ground exercise. They are still looking into what caused him to lose control.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dozens of climate activists arrested during protests at coal-fired power plant in Bow yesterday. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
Walking past the no trespassing sign with their hands up. Dozens of climate activists are arrested on the property of Merrimack Station in Bow. Those arrested were just a portion of the protesters calling on the coal-fired power plant to shut down.
I'm concerned about climate change. I'm concerned about what scientists are saying about, our future and the future for my kids.
It doesn't make sense for our climate. It doesn't make sense for our clean air and water. It doesn't make sense for our communities, and it doesn't make sense economically either.
Granite Shore Power owns Merrimack Station. It released a statement saying, in part, "We respect and support the right of any person to express his or her views. Unfortunately, today's protest and trespassing was more about making a scene and breaking the law than conveying an informed point of view."
The protesters say they also want elected officials to hear their message.
If our elected officials want to stay in power, they better align with our values and fight back against climate change, because this is our future.
Ensure a safe and just future for all of us, and that starts with holding our elected officials accountable here, because they've been representing the fossil fuel industry instead of us by keeping this plant open.
No. Yes.
Granite Shore goes on to say that Merrimack Station is an important part of the local economy that has drastically decreased carbon emissions and only runs a fraction of the amount it used to. In Bow, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rye police searching for suspect believed to be involved in multiple thefts. Several towns reported thefts. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
For 10 years, New England homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. We get the job done right at a fair price. Call today to arrange a free estimate and to reserve a spot for your 2019 roof replacement. Century Roofing, we've got you covered.
Take a good look at these pictures. They show an SUV of interest to the Rye Police Department. Chief Kevin Walsh says his team believes it is involved in a series of break-ins in town, a theft spree that began last Saturday afternoon.
About 4 o'clock, we were getting calls for break-ins along Ocean Boulevard where somebody was smashing the windows of vehicles, taking property out.
The suspect also targeting Foy's Corner, getting away with a number of valuables: purses, wallets, electronics, cash, and even a person's hearing aids. Police believe the thief is scoping out victims, taking advantage of beachgoers.
One woman did see the person sitting in the vehicle watching, and then watched her walk off and go to the beach. So I think they were looking for specific vehicles that would look okay to break into.
And it may not just be Rye. The police chief here says several other departments have reached out reporting similar break-ins.
I know Portsmouth had some car thefts. Durham has contacted us, and the town of Candia has as well, in Hampton.
Investigators in those towns are working with Rye to see if they are all connected. In the meantime, Walsh is hoping the vehicle's distinct description may lead to some clues and ultimately an arrest.
A Grand Jeep Cherokee, older model, 93 to 98, duct tape across the windshield, fog headlights that are round, and some body work that looks like it was done on the driver's side rear quarter panel.
Now police are warning both locals and tourists to remain vigilant and take all the necessary precautions.
You shouldn't leave property in your vehicle. Cell phones, wallets, purses, things like that. Bring them with you. If you're coming to the beach, you want to bring something portable that allows you to carry it with you at all times.
In Rye, Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Fox Business. Fox Business will launch a new brand on Monday, September 30th, 2019. That moves the network closer to Fox News Channel. Forbes notes the change emphasizes Fox Business focus on Main Street rather than Wall Street. This was just a great opportunity for Fox Business to embrace its lineage of being part of the Fox News family, said Jason Kalman of Fox News Media. Along with the new logo and on-air graphics, the rebranding features a new tagline for the network: Investing in You, with host Maria Bartiromo, Stuart Varney, and Neil Caverto sharing stories as part of a new campaign. The look and feel of the new logos, the style is similar, and the idea of invested in you is about being in it for the people. And here's a photo of that. Take a look. As you can see, this is what the new logo looks like. Fox Business. And it all begins tomorrow. Hong Kong is focusing its most serious political crisis. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
To Hong Kong, where the city is facing its most serious political crisis in decades. Protesters clashing with police, tensions rising ahead of the 70th anniversary of the funding of the People's Republic of China. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Hong Kong right now. Ian, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. We're seeing incredible scenes once again in Hong Kong as these protests seem to have ramped up yet another level. You can see the Hong Kong Fire Service in action behind me here. They've been set up. These are barricades that were set up by the protesters. If you can look down on the ground, you can see these huge chunks of bricks that the protesters have been using to hurl at the police. The police have been responding with round after round of tear gas. Now, just to remind people, this is about a protest that is about freedom and democracy. They have 5 key demands. That's essentially what it's about. But it's also ramping up, as you suggest, to October the 1st, the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. I can hear riot police moving around the streets now. China wants it to go peacefully and smoothly, to be a showcase for the country. The protesters here in Hong Kong got very different plans. Eva?
All right, Ian Pannell for us there in Hong Kong.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone, and bye.